Hi everyone, we are Group 3 and I'm Sihan.
And I am Lean. And today our group is responding to Safia Omaga's Nobel's article, Teaching Trayvon Race, Media, and the Politics of the Spectacle.
We will highlight the key arguments, share our perspective, and connect it with the media example that reflect how race and media interact in the politics of spectacles. Noble argued that Trayvon Martin's death was turned into a media spectacle. Instead of pushing people to talk seriously about race, the story was packaged and sold for rating and advertising. Like she said, the spectators swallow whole the story and split back little to dismantle system of violence. In this spectacle, there were two main narratives. The domain narrative blamed the Trayvon as dark and Zimmerman as a fearful citizen. Fox News and other right-wing voices support this version, and it reinforces systematic reasons. On the other hand, counter-narrative try to show that the Trayvon as a student, a son, and a friend through the I'm the Trayvon campaign and embody magazine cover. Social media also help spread the message of the solidarity, but these cover voices didn't gain the same attention in the mainstream media. Noble also points out how black suffering was trivialized. Trayvon's death even became the meme, the Trayvoning trend, where the people mocked his killing. This shows that bell hook called eating the other. Black pain turned into the white entertainment. Behind all of this is capitals. Media company made money from the story about black criminality driving up the rating and ad revenue. Some of these companies even tried to the private prison industries. As Nebo says, selling criminality is a big business. Finally, she argued that whiteness function is like property. Zimmerman's right to fear blackness was equally protected, while Trayvon's basic right to life was denied. This case exploded how lower media capital altogether to hold up structural reasons.
We agree with Noble. The Trayvon story turned into a show. Lots of clips, reactions, and arguments, but the bigger stuff, like laws, history, and power, went quiet. News and socials kept replaying shocking moments. That kept us watching, not understanding. We argued about clips instead of asking what policies and histories made this happen. Coverage focused on Zimmerman's fear and Trayvon's character. That made suspicion of black youth feel normal. It pulled attention away from systemic anti blackness racial profiling and laws like Stand Your Ground. Platforms and TV earn money from clicks and engagement. So, more outrage equals more views. When tragedy becomes content, talk about real change gets quieter. Here's what media literacy should do. First, move from spectacle to structure. Don't stop at the viral moment, which means connect to it, policy, and history. Second, ask three quick questions. Who's benefiting from this framing? What's missing? What needs to change? And third, center solutions, not sides. Shift from who's right to which systems are at work and how do we fix them? And that's media literacy in action. Popular culture is always a culture of conflict. This means that culture is never neutral. It always ends up as a space where people fight over ideas, power, and meaning. The Trayvon story is a perfect example of this. It became a huge public argument about race, justice, and who was right. Some people defended Zimmerman and focused on his fear, while others demanded justice for Trayvon and pointed out that racism behind the event. instead of talking about deeper problems like systemic racism, laws, and policing. The conversation often turns into a debate over sides. This shows how the media turns tragedy into conflict instead of focusing on real solutions. People make their own meanings out of culture. This means that people don't just accept what the media tells them, they respond, react, and create their own messages. This has also happened after Trayvon's death, with hashtags like Justice for Trayvon, protests across cities, and social media posts all showed how people pushed back against the racist narratives. Even when the media tried to shape the story in a certain way, people created new meanings that focused on justice, equality, and resistance. This shows the power of people to change the conversation and challenge dominant ideas that are being pushed on the public.
The article also mentioned the media example that shows how black suffering was exploited online. The Trayvon memes in this trend, white youth posted the on the ground to mock the death of Trayvon Martin. It's become the part of media spectators where his death was turned into the entertainment and the racial pleasure. This also reflects the bell hooks idea of eating the others. The black pain consumed as a white enjoyment. Less than a year after Trayvon's humanity was erased and his death circulated online as a joke. This shows that the digital culture doesn't just report reason, it performed and spread it, reforming the systematic reason in everyday life.
In conclusion, Noble's article really shows how Trayvon Martin's death turned into a media show instead of a real conversation about racism and justice. The news focused on the drama and arguments, not on the deeper issues like laws, policing, or how racism is built into the system. But what's powerful is that people didn't just accept that story, they spoke up, protested, and created new meanings online. That reminds us that media isn't just something we watch, it's something we can challenge and change. And if we learn to look past that spectacle and focus on the bigger picture, we can push for real change instead of just consuming another story. Thank you.